Do you remember, this is where the metal cabinet is going to go, where we're going to put the Blu-ray DVD tape player, okay? So I'm going to show you the back side of the metal cabinet because we need to cut a hole in there. We've got to cut a hole for the back side of this plug. And I don't want to cut just a hole to fit this and put the the cover plate over the hole or anything. I want to make the hole big enough and tall enough and wide enough so that we don't have to do anything with this plug. Okay? We just want it to go around. So then we're going to have to do the same thing for this. We could cut a big, huge hole out like this, or we could cut one hole here and one hole here. So let me show you the back side of the cabinet and show you what we're going to do. Before I show you the back of the cabinet, I want to explain something. Originally, when I had the cabinet up here, I cut a hole out just for this plug. And I didn't cut a hole out for this. But, and I don't want you to do it that way, but I did that for a reason. After I did that, I had the cable coming out and sneaking back into this, next to here, and coming out of the cabinet. Well, that's not really the best way to do it because the cable that comes into there, it could rub on the back side of the cabinet because it's a metal back, and it could eventually mark that, or if the cabinet gets moved around a little bit, it could cut off a little bit of the plastic of the cable or something like that. So once I put the cabinet back, I'm probably going to end up bolting it to the wall. But the reason why I only cut one hole here is because I wanted to show you how to cut a hole in the back side of the cabinet. And that's why I left this one on the back of the cabinet with no hole, because I'm going to show you how to cut that out. Okay? Now I'll show you the back of the cabinet. One more thing. You may say, what's the big deal about cutting the hole in the back side of a cabinet? Well, the tools that I'm going to use is going to amaze you, okay? Because I'm trying to save you money here, and I'm going to show you that you don't need a jigsaw to cut the back of the cabinet out. You don't need a metal cutting blade on a skill saw. You may not have a skill saw. You may not own a jigsaw, and I don't want that to stop you from cutting a hole in the back of your cabinet, okay? Even though I have this hole, I need to cut out another hole. And the reason why I need to cut another hole is because I want this cabinet to go tight, right up against the wall. That way I can bolt it right into the wall. If I didn't do that, I'd have to pull this away from the wall a little bit so that this cord could come out on the back side and back into the hole where I have on the back side of the cabinet right now. I don't want to do that because then people are going to slide this cabinet around or something like that, and then I'm going to have a problem with maybe this wire fraying or being cut right here and causing some damage, okay? So put your thinking cap on. How am I going to cut this cabinet back? Here's the back of the cabinet. It's a metal back, and it's not too thick, but it's still kind of stout because it's got to hold the whole cabinet together. And I made this plenty big enough so that when the cover plate fits on here, it doesn't hit the cover plate at all. So there's a little bit of an area around there that's going to fit right up to the wall. Now, I've got to have another one in here, okay? And I'm going to do some measuring. And I'll put some measurements on the back side of here and show you how I'm going to cut this out. Now, how do you suppose I'm going to cut that? I told you I'm not going to use a jigsaw. I'm not going to use a hacksaw. And I'm not going to use a skill saw with a metal cutting blade on it. What else is there? What would you do here? How would you cut this hole if you didn't have those items? Briefly show you what I'm doing, what I did here, because I marked this, and whenever you measure, you want to measure twice, because you don't want to cut this hole and then find out that you just cut it in the wrong spot, okay? So I did some measuring over there, and then I transferred the lines over here, and I don't have a straight edge with me. And so once I got a couple marks, I just measured off of here and got a couple marks, and then I just added a few more pencil lines, and I did that across the top and on the side. So if I just cut it, you know, as close to that as I can, there's my marks, okay? Now, the trick is to cut that. I'm going to show you what I'm going to use. Kaboom! That's what I'm going to use to cut that hole. Can you believe it? I'm going to Joe MacGyver it. You remember MacGyver? The 1980s TV show? Oh, he could do just about anything. He would find whatever it took to do whatever he was doing. And that's what I'm going to do here. My trusty tin snips and just a crummy screwdriver and a drill bit. And that drill bit's not very big, is it? It's probably a little over 1/8 of an inch. I could use a little bit bigger one. I'm going to try this one first. If this one's sharp, I'm going to use that. But some of my bits are dull, so I may have to change bits. And that's all I'm going to use. Now, how am I going to do that? That's how I cut that one hole. That's all I used. You believe me? I hope you do, because that's what I'm going to show you next. Well, I've got some gloves on too, and you're going to want to use some eyewear for this too. So I'm just going to drill a hole in here first to make sure this drill bit's going to be the one. I don't know, I think I can get a sharper one than that. I'm going to work on trying to find the right drill bit. I just want a sharp one, all right? That's all. I found one a little bit sharper, but I'm going to make this work. Now, I'm going to drill a couple holes in here, but I'm going to stay away from my line at first, okay? I'm over, I don't know, 1/2 inch, 3/8 of an inch. Now, I've got this one hole started and drilled through. Now I'm going to go up and just, you know, give a gap of a 1/16 of an inch gap in between the holes. Well, that's probably too much. I got probably a 3/16, but so make this one less this time. It's about the same. Alright, let's try one more hole. On top of that one, okay, I got 3 in a row so far. You with me? That one was a little better. I'm going to try one more hole, I guess. I'll try one more. Right in line with the others. Ooh. Okay, now I've got, see that last hole kind of went into the other one. Now I'm going to take the next hole and I'm just going to ream it down and fill in and cut that line right there. Just take your drill at an angle and use this as a cutter. Okay, like that. Now I can do this other one and come up. Come on. And come up at an angle and connect the two lines there. I'm just using my drill as a cutter there. See there? Look at that. I got a bigger hole now. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this next hole. And I'm just going to take that from there down. At an angle. Got another one. And the top one, same thing. Look at that. Okay, that's all I'm going to use this drill for. Now the next step. Here's a straight on shot of it. See, I had a hole there, one there, one there, one there, and one down at the bottom. And then I just took the drill at an angle like that and down like this and broke the gaps in between each one. And then put the drill in there, broke that one. Put the drill in there, broke that one. Put the drill in there, broke that one. And now I've got this nice line going here. You see that? That's what you want so far. Joe was a bad boy. He didn't have any goggles today, any eyewear. Hey, whenever you do your project, you don't want to drill holes like that, especially if you're standing down further. If you're drilling up over your head or something like that, you can get these little flakes into your eye. How I was standing up, drilling down, that was probably okay. It was pretty safe, but I still should have had some goggles, but I didn't have any with me. But I encourage you to get yourself a pair and have them ready whenever you need them. I'm showing you what not to do, all right? My screwdriver, here's my screwdriver tip now, trick. Just going to take that in there and kind of move that around. Now I'm just trying to get this lip kind of pulled up a little bit. Okay? Now see, this side's pushed down, this side's pulled up. See how much bigger I've got that now? Now do you see why you don't want to do this right on your line? Because this would have made a big old mess here. What I'm trying to do is get me a starting point to get my tin snips in there. Right? And once I do, then I can cut back and go along the lines.